How do we get our home back from this to this? Now, minimalist homies, let's dive into how I refresh my home and make it even better than before and how you can too. And this is sponsored by the Inside Out Challenge. More on that in a bit. Now, we are going to tackle making space, decluttering, organizing, and more. Plus, I'm going to need your help, and I will get into that shortly. But first, I used to make this big mistake before. So after the holidays or just any old time that you want to refresh things, the very first thing that you should do is to put things away, right? Putting away. Now after Christmas, or maybe if you're just swapping out some of your decor, which is a trick that I will get into in just a second, naturally, you've got to put some things away. And when I decorate, I often put a lot of my home decor in totes so that it's not overwhelming to the eye and we're not just like, oh my gosh, there's just so much stuff. Like it's just so much worse. Now, what I used to do was I just would swap them out, put these guys away, put the other stuff back, and that was that. But I was missing a few huge opportunities. Okay. So when I was a kid, every now and then, my parents, they would move our furniture around. They would just like switch it up. Now I used to really struggle with making any changes at all. And I used to just want things to stay as they should. Darn it. Ugh, how boring. Now, turns out variety is good for a few reasons. It can make things flow better just in the house. Like maybe you move things around and you're like, oh my gosh, like this just flows so much better. And even we move our furniture when it's Christmas time and it just like freshens up the space. I would say the love seat is like the last seat people choose to sit on. And at Christmas time, when we have it in a different spot, we all love it, but we like to put it back. So there's that. It also helps us with creativity, having that variety. We can find some creativity and some fun when we move things around. We can be like, oh, this is great. And of course, it can create a fresh perspective. Now, this is also a great opportunity for some good old decluttering. Now, you know I love to declutter. Not only can you declutter what you're putting away, so as you're putting away, say, do I use this? Do I need this? Whether it's Christmas decor or just decor that you're taking down or whatever, just ask yourself, did I like this? Did I use it? If you didn't put it out, and chances are you did not enjoy it. You can also dive into the stuff that you're putting back out and say, do I actually really like this? Do I really need this? Now, I always like to keep things that bring me joy out, but not too much. Now, if you struggle with how to declutter, or every new year you say, this is the year that I'm going to get this home completely decluttered, only to end up saying the same thing next year, then you are going to absolutely love my Inside Out free 3-day challenge. We are going to pick an area of your home, you can choose it, that you can dive into and get some success. And what's different about my challenges and me is that we are diving deep, my friend. I always like to get into what is going on up here that makes it so hard to let go of things. A lot of people have been struggling with decluttering for years or decades. I know that I was. It took me a long time to really find a strategy that worked. In this challenge, we are going to get into some of the things that keep coming up and are keeping people from decluttering their homes. And we're also going to help you craft a plan to get that home decluttered once and for all. Are you in? I hope you are. So join me at minimalisthome.ca/inside out. So after you have decluttered your things, I like to put away the Christmas decor that I'm keeping. And something though that I noticed every year was when I went to decorate, everything was just a hodgepodge. The totes were just a disaster. So what I did, I just caved and I got a handy dandy label maker. I know a lot of people love them. I don't love to label everything, but something like Christmas stuff is going to be amazing because I can label absolutely everything that's in the totes, which also helps me know that things in the totes will fit. So wonderfully enough, turns out my very old label maker is out of paper or labels, whatever. So paper and marker it is. I just wrote this down on here of the things that I'm keeping in there, and it is just so helpful. I organized the things I'm keeping, even created a holiday penalty box. So if I wasn't going to decorate with those things next year, then I know that they can be decluttered, which is so helpful. I also love to use ornament boxes like this one. It is so helpful for putting things in. It keeps them pretty safe. You can wrap them up if you want to. This one is absolutely massive. I got it at Canadian Tire years ago. So I would recommend maybe getting one of the ones from Amazon, which I will link below. And I take the opportunity to give everything a really good clean. Also, I pull out the furniture, give it a vacuum, wipe off all of the ornaments before I put them away, wipe off all of the furniture, and it just feels so nice to also have that opportunity to clean things up. That brings us to assessing. Now, I take the stuff that I have and I decide what I want to put where. Sometimes I just put it all back. And other times I'm really feeling the urge to shuffle things around. I have been over my love-hate relationship with this bookshelf. Now here's the thing, it will be leaving, but in the meantime, I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to just like get rid of it and then have the space be awkwardly empty. Like that's the thing with minimalism. Some people, they feel like it's going to look like a big empty space, and it will if you just delete things and don't sort of think, what will it be like? So I need your help though. Now this puppy is going, but what look should I do? Do you like something like this? Or like this look? Now it has to have a TV though, because I am not a huge fan of having the TV in this room, although I do watch it, but I live with 3, sometimes 4 guys. So of course they want to keep it, but let me know what your thoughts are. Now that we have done a bit of decluttering, we've put some things away, we're gonna put the other stuff out. Now I still have my candles out. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Part of that has to do with like my complete hatred of like the darkness in the winter. Putting out some things that are very special. Like these 2 things remind me so much of my dad. You know, we lost him a couple of years ago. And having these things here makes me feel great. And a lot of people feel like they have to declutter. When we talk about decluttering, they're like, oh my gosh, but what about this? But what about that? And it's like, no, keep the things that are sentimental to you. So I keep a few of my sentimental things. But here's the thing, I put some away and then I swap them in the year. And I don't store a ton of stuff. As a minimalist, I just keep the things that are sentimental, the things that I really like, and I will swap them. Like the photo on my desk, I have a photo of my family and then another picture that I put out that is sentimental to me, and it feels so good. Also, when I do put things out, I like groups of 3. Groups of 3 really help balance things. I like that too. Now, one more thing you should do is one more quick declutter. Yes, you had to know that I was going to come back to this. Just do one more quick once over. There might be 1 or 2 things that you might say, this needs to go. And then just make the decision and move on. If you really want to, use the penalty box system. I mentioned that before. I love having a penalty box. I'm Canadian, so you know, it's like a whole hockey thing. But you just put the stuff in the box. And if you don't use it within a short period of time, like a couple of months, you can say, I'm going to let that go. The other thing I'd like to do is make sure that there is good lighting. And if you're doing a bit of a spiff up like I am in the winter, you're going to want to check and make sure like the lighting in your house is good. And it makes such a massive difference to have good lighting. And when it is dark out, I love having like these fairy lights here and these other lamps. Like they just make it so much more cozy and so much more comfortable. This part is great and easy. Just do a quick walkabout and zhuzh anything that needs it. Maybe put a blanket out. Anything that's cozy, but not causing clutter, but just makes the home feel a little more comfortable. And I really love to lean into the hygge vibe in the winter more than anything. It just makes things feel so much more cozy. I can snuggle up with a blanket and some tea. And I made this video with Diane from Diane in Denmark all about hygge and how to do it, because it is a bit of an art. And make sure you check out the Inside Out Challenge. I hope something fun happens for you today. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.